Welcome to the 2017 North American Indigenous Games Wrap-Up Show, presented by Centennial College. And it starts right now.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm your host Erin Moore here with Matt Teague. Now Matt, we've seen some incredible feats of athleticism and sportsmanship over the week, and you were lucky enough to witness it in lacrosse.
That I was. After the women's U19 semifinal game between Team Ontario and Saskatchewan, the true essence of these games really came to life. Barely 10 minutes removed from a grueling, competitive contest, Team Ontario invited Saskatchewan to join them in a team photo, creating one giant snapshot of what the games truly represent.
Now, the North American Indigenous Games did end on Saturday, but the memories that these young athletes have created over the week will surely last a lifetime. 22 teams fought their hardest for medals across 14 sports, inspiring everyone with their tenacity and uplifting stories. Women's lacrosse was included for the first time in the game's 25-year history, with Team Ontario winning the first ever game in the historical event. The Northwest Territories' Deanne Wenham went against the odds and won gold in golf, even though the only course in her hometown of Yellowknife is entirely sand. She has to carry a piece of turf with her in order to hit the ball. Team Wisconsin took home the oldest trophy in the games' history, winning overall in men's wrestling with only 6 members, all of whom took home either a gold or silver medal. Saskatchewan's archery coach Ivy DeLorme faced tragedy before the games when her sister passed away days before she left for Toronto. However, she refused to let her 8-member team down by forfeiting, allowing them to attend their first ever games. After an eventful 10 days, British Columbia came out on top in the medal standings for the second games in a row. Here is a look at the final medal standings for the games. Team BC leading the pack with 179 medals. In a close second is Team Saskatchewan with 166, and Team Ontario rounding out the top 3 with 137. And finishing with 6 gold medals, Saskatchewan's own Dylan Bowman was the big winner in athletics.
No real surprise here, Aaron. Team Saskatchewan and BC have found a steady amount of success at the games in previous years, as the two provinces have combined to win 8 of the 9 games.
Well, the bidding process for the 2020 games is now open, so it'll be exciting to see if Saskatchewan can reclaim their place on top of the medal standings.
At the 2014 North American Indigenous Games, Minnesota did not field a basketball team in the men's U19 division. Well, the new kids on the court showed the rest of the competition that they were for real, dominating the preliminary rounds and booking a ticket to the championship game. After a thrilling round-robin of play on the court, teams Washington and Minnesota were the last 2 standing, once again reminding Canadians that basketball is still one of America's games. After losing their opening game of the tournament to Wisconsin, Washington was able to refocus like a true championship team and use this early adversity to propel them through the rest of the tournament. Led by their star players Trey Miles-Williams and Xavier Littlehead, Washington went undefeated the rest of the way, including an 82-76 victory over British Columbia in the semis and a 93-77 victory over Minnesota to claim the gold. After taking gold at the games in the U19 men's division in 2014, British Columbia was pushed off the podium at the hands of New York, and despite not being on the podium in 2014, Washington was able to make significant improvements to claim the gold medal.
Centennial's Mike Alessandrini spoke with Team Ontario's under-14 boys basketball coach, who is influencing his players both on and off the court.
It all started as a player growing up in a rural community. I used sports as my crutch or my social aspects of life. You know, you're too young to have a driver's license, so you get yourself involved with sports. You know, that kind of got good at that, and moving forward, playing in these North American Indigenous Games on the men's team in 2002 really opened up my eyes to basketball. After my career playing days were over, I started doing a lot of coaching, Special Olympics to Aboriginal youth teams, to high school teams and such. I wanted to give back to the communities that not only to promote NAIG, but like to promote the Aboriginal sport, and with all the politics involved and everything else, you know, it's just a release, it's a way out, and it's something that we're naturally gifted to do. So that's kind of what I did. Why coaching? again, just something to give back, and giving kids opportunities, promoting healthier lifestyles. Well, a lot of them don't really understand what's at stake. They don't know how much pressure there is, how skillful the players are at such young ages. Mostly for a lot of these players, this is only one neg. They get to play in one neg. I've been fortunate to be in 3 of them. So moving forward, it's like I can't explain that barrier where we have to break it down and get them training, put them on schedules, get them eating right. I hope that they can take this moving forward experience and in their basketball careers actually to get more serious about their training and such. It's a whole different level.
These young athletes face a number of challenges and barriers within their communities. The games allow them to escape these challenges, even if just for a few days.
I believe the world will stop for like the 7 days that they're here. Aboriginals learn a lot through play, right? Even from the beginning with lacrosse games. So it's that moment in time where you just stop, nothing else matters. Their communities, the problems in their communities, and there's many. With the young going too soon, and the housing issues and the sewage issues, all this stuff. This is a time. Sport is healing for some of them. And it doesn't matter about winning medals. It's about having the confidence and the character moving forward to bring it back to your community, to be role models in your community and make a difference.
And for this team of Ontario boys, it is more than just a group of players coming together on the court. They are family. And Benoit, he's the big brother. Reporting from the North American Indigenous Games in Toronto, Mike Alessandrini, Centennial Sports TV.
The sport of lacrosse was created by the Haudenosaunee people and is also known as the medicine game or the creator's game, said to have healing powers for those who play it. Last week at the Games, this cultural touchstone was put on display in women's action as Team Ontario took on Saskatchewan in the semifinals for a chance to compete for the first ever gold medal in women's lacrosse at the Games. Team Ontario, proving that they are the team to beat throughout the relegation round as they finished a perfect 4-0, including a victory over Team Saskatchewan by a score of 14-5. The semi-final rematch saw Team Ontario dominate, blowing by every green jersey in sight and putting this game out of reach in a hurry. Ontario took this one by a final of 21-1 to book their ticket to the gold medal game, but came out just short in the finals, losing to Eastern Door in the North 5-4. Team Ontario, British Columbia, and New York flooded the lacrosse scene with talent, taking home 7 of the 9 medals. Team Ontario just narrowly missing the golden sweep as Eastern Door in the North took the first ever gold medal in women's lacrosse at the Games. U19 Team Ontario lacrosse coach Kurt Stiers is also the owner of the Rochester Nighthawks of the National Lacrosse League. He's a significant figure in the world of lacrosse, and our own Austin Owens caught up with him about Iroquois Arena and the impact it has had on the growth of the sport in the community.
It's not just about the medals at the 2017 North American Indigenous Games. In fact, the games are centered on fair play, fun, and most importantly, community. The main venue for box lacrosse is a prime example of that. Iroquois Lacrosse Arena was built on the Six Nations Reserve for the purpose of being able to have a central hub for lacrosse in the community. The arena is both host to senior and junior lacrosse over the summer and is the training facility for the National Lacrosse League's Rochester Nighthawks. Kurt Stiers, the owner of both the arena and the Nighthawks, says the creation of the space has started demand for more facilities in the area.
It was a dream for many years to have a lacrosse-only facilities. And when it got here, we thought, how are we going to fill it? But right now we're talking is we got to build two or three more. The championships that the Six Nations have won over the years has really shown that it's paying off for the guys to be playing all the time.
The arena features a turf field, 2 sporting goods facilities, as well as a full-size gym. Stiers says that no matter the time, there are always people playing lacrosse inside the facility.
Like, for the most part, the doors are always open here. I know sometimes they come up here and It's late. I see guys out here playing lacrosse, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And what a great feeling that is when they could be a million other places when they're here playing lacrosse and getting ready for the next game.
Although there have been no plans for extra facilities to be implemented, the ILA is certainly getting its fair share of patrons at NAIG. The under-16 gold medal game was packed to capacity with fans from both Ontario and Saskatchewan sitting in to see the Creators game live. Reporting from the North American Indigenous Games in Hagersville, Ontario, I'm Austin Owens for Centennial Sports.
Winning the under-19 men's 400-meter gold medal was a proud moment for one Wisconsin athlete. Our own Colin Benjamin caught up with him to discuss his appreciation of the Games.
We're here with the under-19 400 champion from the 2017 North American Indigenous Games, Jose from Wisconsin. So how do you feel? You came in as favorite and you won.
Yeah, I feel good. I have an injury in long jump, but came back, feel a lot better now.
Obviously, this is Indigenous Games. You have experience running in the Pan Americans in the U.S. You were a 7th place finish in the U.S. situation.
Yeah.
How does it feel to come to Canada here and win?
It feels good. I kind of just ran my own race, kind of did what I did. Pretty much just ran my own race, and it felt great.
Your personal best coming in was a 47.5. You got a 48 today.
Yeah.
Did you want to break your personal best?
Not really, because I didn't train for it as much as I regularly do for track season, but I want to at least have a decent time going back.
And lastly, I guess for an Indigenous person, what does it mean to have run this race today?
It means a lot. I love the whole experience of the Native American Indigenous Games. I love the environment, and I love all the fans that are all here.
That was my interview with today's 400-meter under-19 champion, Jose Guzman from Wisconsin, United States. He came in as favorites in this competition, having been the 7th ranked in the United States for the Pan American Juniors. But when the conditions got better, we had races ranging from the 200, the 300, the 3,000, and ending with Jose's 400-meter triumph. I'm Colin Benjamin with Centennial Sports TV.
Straight ahead, we have some feel-good family stories, including wrestling brothers and badminton cousins. All that and more on Centennial TV's wrap-up show on the 2017 North American Indigenous Games.
Cut.
The Centennial Sports Journalism program strives to create, produce, and deliver exceptional coverage of the North American Indigenous Games this summer, running from July 16th to 23rd. We aim to shine a light on the largest continental sporting and cultural gathering of Indigenous peoples and take the utmost care in capturing the triumphs and achievements of Indigenous communities in the face of adversity. These games recognize the past while looking towards the future, and we are dedicated to bringing the abundance of inspiring stories to the world as journalists. Reporting from the North American Indigenous Games at Centennial College in Toronto, I'm Pat Stuthers.
There are 14 official sports at the Games, but there's an unofficial sport that brings everybody together off the field of play.
Yeah, pin trading has become popular not only among the athletes, but coaches, spectators, and the volunteers as a great way to break the ice and share in the experience.
Part of the pins is because kids are shy,
And what they do is each of the different communities as well as the teams give their own people pins. Now, how do you get kids from BC to talk to somebody from Quebec or whatever? They're not going to go up and say hi, but if they've got pins, they're trading pins back and forth. And then as you're trading pins, then you start making friendships because you've got to talk with people to be able to trade back and forth.
Right now, my favorite would have to be the Haudenosaunee pin, just because it's a turtle, because we're on Turtle Island right now, so it's a really nice pin, and they have the Toronto skyline in it, which is really cool. It's just really nice. Yeah, it's something that's always in the back of your mind of like kind of what your ancestors did, and now we're kind of doing it but in a new way. So it's keeping those traditions but making them more modern, I guess.
For the Shawanda family, wrestling is not just a sport. It's a chance to come together and cheer each other on in what is a true family affair. With more on the story, here's David Rubin.
I'm here at the Indoor Track and Field Center at York University, where I caught up with the Shawanda family. Two of the brothers are competing side by side in wrestling, while the eldest, who now competes at Algoma University, is cheering alongside his parents, making this a true family affair.
My dad, because he wrestled in high school, he was kind of the one who pushed me into wrestling, and so I got into it. And then once Mishi came along, he wanted to also help into it. So, and then from there, our younger brother Malcolm hopped into it. So it's kind of been growing and ever since. So
they all want to wrestle together. It's really neat because they support each other, and having that support is really important for them.
And I think that part when they're looking at just the direction and having wrestling or MMA or just combat sports in general part of their life, I think that'll carry on through into adulthood.
Do you guys sort of push each other all the time, or is it more of a sibling rivalry?
No, we definitely push each other a lot. Kind of encourage each other, help each other on little things. Obviously, I'm older and have been wrestling longer, so I have a little more seniority than him. And I try to help and try to coach him, but try not to overstep that boundary of coaching him too much.
Having both my brothers, they're always being always there as soon as I get off the mat. Such as this, my last match I lost. He was right there, ready, starting to give me pointers on how to be better for my next match. But the important part is I'm happy I had my brothers to help me out.
Also, there's a lot of pressure just being at home, but there's also a lot of support. A lot different than when we were in Regina. We didn't have none of our family that was there because they were back home and it was so far away. But here we have the support of our family. We had our friends come over from different parts of Michigan and back home, and they came to support Malcolm and Mishi in their tournament here. So there's a tremendous support. They feel good when they wrestle, when they have support there.
It's the background that they have in terms of athletics and the things that they're growing up in and around. In terms of the physical activity that wrestling brings, it really allows them to be able to channel their energy, that young energy, and put it onto the mats in a good place in a good way.
They say hard work pays off, and it certainly did for the Shawanda brothers. Naquan finished fourth in his 63-kilogram weight class, while Mishi earned a podium finish with a bronze medal. Reporting from York University, I'm David Rubin for Centennial Sports TV.
Mike Kavik and Davide Kudlarok are cousins who hail from Sanakulowick, a community of some 800 people in Nunavut. For the young badminton talents, coming to a city like Toronto to compete can be overwhelming to say the least. Here's Centennial's Jose Taboada with a story on how being with family helps them stay close to home.
Badminton can be a single and a team competitive sport. However, for a pair of cousins from Nunavut, it's family first.
Meet Mike Kavik and Davide Kudlarok, two cousins from Nunavut competing in the men's doubles under-16 badminton event.
That actually works pretty well because the dynamic is there. They're used to practicing together, they're used to playing together, and they can train together. So they know what they can do and they know how to help each other. The biggest thing is to relax and to be able to adapt to the gameplay. They've done a lot of training, they've done a lot of stuff. For them, once they get the serve in and they get into the rallies, then they're good. For the doubles is their attacking. They're strong attackers, but just their consistency of keeping the bird going, keeping it in the court. They're making the finals for. They're in there for doubles and both in for mixed at this point. Great. as they probably mentioned, they just loved Canada's Wonderland. But they've been traveling around the city. The buses have been long, but this is the biggest city they've been to, so it's a pretty new experience.
Mike and Davide also compete in the men's 16 under singles competition. When asked who's better than the other, well, they had their mind set on one person.
Who do you think would win that if you guys had to meet each other? Mike. Oh, Mike, really? Why?
Because he's better.
As Coach Stevens said, this is their last play of the summer before in September they go back to competitive play. Reporting from the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center, I'm Jose Taboada, Centennial Sports TV.
After winning bronze in the U16 male doubles category at the 2014 Games, Eastern Door and the North captured the gold this time, as the cousins from Nunavut took home silver and Manitoba's effort earned them the bronze. Just 2 weeks ago, members of Team Ontario Badminton were total strangers, with little time to bond before the start of competition. Centennial's Jessica Ng documents how quickly they were able to come together as a team and create memories that will last a lifetime.
I'm here at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center, where I've talked with Ontario's badminton team about what the North American Indigenous Games mean to them and how they got here.
No, this is our first time playing together.
And that's our first time meeting each other.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty good, so.
Yeah, it's surprising how well we go together and how it's like we've been playing together before.
Yeah, we have a lot of similarities, so it helps.
At the last NAIG, my brother actually played in athletics. So when I saw him and I saw that there were so many different sports, I thought I really wanted to be in the next one. So I tried out for as many sports as I could, and I got in for badminton.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I tried out for basketball, volleyball, and then this also, but I had a coach this year for my school team, and she really helped me out and everything, so I wanted to try out specifically for badminton.
I actually just found out about the NAIG Games last year. I heard from someone else on another reserve, and so I looked more into it, and I thought it was really cool. And there was tryouts close to me, so I made sure I got there. At first, everyone was really quiet, and now I feel really close. I feel like we've grown super close. We're a family now. We all get along so great. It's awesome. I've loved spending time with them. Try to just be positive. I'm a little competitive. I try to keep myself grounded and think of why I'm playing, and that's, yeah, I play for my community.
All of these players have never played together until we came here. So we selected them from their different communities, and the first time they actually got to really get together is when we arrived here on Saturday and practiced on Sunday. So they're just gelling as a team, just having lots of fun. When you play with a new partner, you have to kind of adjust a little bit, but the whole point of badminton, especially when you're playing doubles and mixed doubles, is communication. That's the key. So even though you haven't played with somebody, as long as you're talking, you can start improving, and that's what I've noticed definitely. Today, they had jitters when their first games for doubles and stuff like that, but as the day progressed, they were getting better, communicating well, and I'm pleased with the results. For me, it's not about winning or losing, it's about them playing as hard as they can and having fun.
Coming up, we have more stories beyond the box score, including pin trading, unique volleyball jerseys, and the need for more Indigenous athlete recognition. All on Centennial TV's wrap-up show on the 2017 North American Indigenous Games.
As a kid, this beat was always stuck in my head. I would practice it anywhere I could, whenever I could. I was able to bring the beat to life. Here, I found my music.
Cut.
What sets Centennial College apart from the rest? The Story Arts Center, a school where you can turn your creative passion into a real job. It's a small campus with intimate classes, which allows students to get real hands-on experience. Fine-tune your technical skills while expanding your creativity. Become part of Toronto's rich history, like several of our alumni, and make the Six proud. Story Arts Centre is a small school with a big influence.
It's funny when you actually look at all the players when they walk by each other. Just they start looking at the neck only, and they're like, "What? What do you got there?" And it's like, "We want to trade some pins," and then we just like browsing, just checking every pin. I'm like, "Oh, I'll trade you for that one. I got this one right here." It's like, "Oh yeah, okay, that completes my set or whatever." Well, basically, I just have the one pin, and I look for something that I like that's a bit bigger, and that big piece becomes something 2 pieces. And then those 2 pieces go to getting another big piece to another big piece, and it just goes so on and so forth to the point where I have all this. This is a complete set, this is a complete set, and this is my favorite one right here.
Which one is that one?
This is the Northwest Territories. This is the Yukon set that actually goes like a big circle like this when you connect it. And this is says Yukon, and it's just all that. What I've done also is trade for like a complete set for like maybe a hat, or what I'm trying to get is a couple, maybe like a jersey or something.
So how many pins is worth a hat or a jersey?
It depends on what the person wants. Like this right here, I think someone would want. People have been trading this like $150, American. So you're just like,
You know, I think it's really fascinating that people are not only collecting these pins, but actually trading up for signed jerseys and even memorabilia.
Yeah, I wonder if a Centennial pin would get me anything on the market. Enough about pins. Back to the hardwood now, as the competition at the games was outstanding on the court. But Centennial's own Tyler Partridge caught up with Manitoba basketball star Jordan Cowley off the court. They talked about his experience at the games, where he draws inspiration from, and what he does back home to help out in the community.
You were at on the under-16 team for Team Manitoba in the 2014 games. How does that experience help you in your second tournament here?
Being in Regina was an incredible experience. Yeah, my first time in a big atmosphere full of crowds, having that support like I talked about earlier. What it helped me. It helped me develop this sort of discipline that whatever happens on the court is that you stay focused and that you play your game and rely on teammates. Yeah, it helped me with that.
Talked about how Bronson Koenig of the Milwaukee Bucks prospect has become kind of a role model. You as an Aboriginal from Wisconsin. How important do you think it is for the Aboriginal youth to have sports role models like Koenig and Carey Price?
Honestly, it's like I feel like personally we don't get enough recognition from First Nations, Aboriginals. We don't get enough recognition of our talents. But yeah, having Bronson Koenig, he just got signed to the Bucks actually in the NBA, which is incredible, a professional sport, So it's just having that mentality that you can do anything you want. You just gotta put your mind to it.
You've been teaching basketball the last couple summers at St. Teresa Point in Manitoba. Can you talk about that experience? Shed some light on that?
Yeah, for sure. The community there, it's preserved, so like you have to fly through plane, but kids there, the families, the parents, they're phenomenal. They're very high-spirited. I see a lot of talent. I know a few athletes from St. Teresa's Point that are actually here right now playing basketball and track. So just knowing that experience and knowing that they have talent over there, it's incredible. Like I was honored to be there for the last few summers. Yeah.
Team Alberta's women's volleyball teams decided to get a bit creative with their jerseys. 3 of the athletes actually took part in designing them themselves, beautifully incorporating both cultural and provincial symbols.
Hi guys, I'm here with Tashoni, Bradley, and Avery, and they're part of the Alberta volleyball team here. And we're just gonna take a look at the jersey here, this beautiful jersey that was actually made by these 3 members. They came up with the jerseys here. And if you just wanna discuss the significance of the jersey culturally, if you'd like to do that, Tashoni.
Well, we really wanted to incorporate like cultural things into our jerseys this year, so we added the eagle feather
which is a very important symbol in our culture. So we decided to incorporate that, and then on the back, the feather like goes from here, and then it goes into the 4 colors of the medicine wheel. So that would be, the 4 colors would be like, represent our nations, so that yellow would be for Asians, white would be the white community, black would be the black community, and this is actually supposed to be red, but you can't have red on red, so the opposite color would be green in our medicine wheel. So.
And then you got the hashtag Team 88 here, which is the kind of the slogan here of the games, hashtag Team 88 to represent the athletes. So what went into putting this on the jersey?
We wanted to incorporate this because like the North American Indigenous Games is surrounded by hashtag 88, and which is that the government supports Indigenous youth in sport. So that's why we incorporated it, because it's a huge thing here.
And Bradley, you had some creation here. Was it the flags that was your idea?
Well, originally I was just going to put a Alberta flag, and then I kind of realized that, oh wait, it's like North American thing. So it's going to be United States, there's going to be states there. So I thought, well, Canada, put the Alberta flag. And that was just my little bit of inspiration in the jersey. But it was really them. They kind of drew the whole thing. So.
Why was it so important for you guys to have such a cultural jersey to represent your province here at the games?
Well, it really shows where we come from and just who we are, and we came to represent our people and play some volleyball.
All right, well, and I think we have the other jerseys as well. We have blue ones.
So these are our regular jerseys, like the blue and white ones are our regular jerseys, and the red ones are our jerseys for the libero on our teams.
So then the blue obviously representing the Alberta colors with the blue here, and then the red libero to differentiate who the libero is. That's how you do volleyball. All right, well, that's just absolutely fantastic, guys. This is a tremendous jersey that you guys created here from York University at the North American Indigenous Games. I'm Mike DeStefano with Centennial Sports.
This has been such an incredible experience, not only to cover these games as part of the Centennial team, but to see such a wonderful culture being celebrated.
Absolutely. From watching lacrosse in Six Nations, to badminton in Scarborough, to track and field at York University, the North American Indigenous Games were covered far and wide across the city of Toronto, giving many an opportunity to experience the true spirit of the Games.
On behalf of Centennial College and the Program of Sports Journalism, we'd like to thank everyone involved with the North American Indigenous Games, and thank you for watching. We hope you liked the show.